Stock market's up big. Dow's up, I don't know, over 400 points. Not sure I know why, but I always want the non-rich to get rich, all those middle-income folks with their retirement accounts. Anyway, we've got Kevin O'Leary, chairman of O'Leary Ventures, Shark Tank investor, and author of Cold Hard Truth on Business, Money, and Life. Kevin O'Leary, we have a lot to talk about. It's good to see you. Let's start. The front page of the Wall Street Journal ran an article saying how interest rates are high and they're going to stay high, but the stock market shrugged it off and it's up 400 points. What do you make of that, Mr. Wonderful?
Balancing concerns about the Finch downgrade and higher and pesky inflation, both in energy and food, is a big issue around how much money we're going to print. We've got two big acts, as you know, the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, and the CHIPS Act. That money's not been deployed yet, Larry. That's close to $1 trillion. That's money we're going to be printing. And where's it going? All into the S&P 500. So if you're an S&P 500 company, yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. You've got clear sailing for the next 3 to 4 years, and the market knows that. And these are big sectors in tech and all kinds of initiatives around construction. And you know, whether you think printing money helps or hurts inflation, I personally think it increases inflation. That's why it's staying up there. But this is an unprecedented time in our economy. You've never had so much, you know, let's call it dry powder. You want to own the S&P while this much dry powder is waiting. And it's not going overseas, Larry. It's coming into America big time. And it's already been approved, already been passed, coming to a theater near you.
That's a great point. Look, that's a seldom heard point, but I think that's very important. The government spending stuff that was passed hasn't played out yet. It's going to play out unless it's rolled back, which it probably won't be. You're exactly right. So there's a lot of money sloshing around, and it's going to find its way into the stock market. That's what you're saying. Look, the Kudlow Trust likes to hear this, and I'm going to bet you a lot of people with all their IRAs and 401ks like it too. But Kevin, you don't think interest rates are going to interfere with that. Is that the idea?
No. That's 40% of the equation. The S&P 500 employs 40% of America. Where the cracks are starting to show is in mainstream America, where the car loans have gone from 5.5% to 9.5%, continue to go up. Lending has slowed down. We haven't talked about regional banks, Larry, in 6 weeks. But don't worry, you're going to be talking about them soon because there's some cracks starting to show there. And I don't think the Fed is finished, unfortunately. You know, we've got some issues here. We're still at full employment. We're still under 4% unemployment. We've still got this nasty energy inflation and food inflation, and they just won't go away. And these actually hurt mandates. If you're in the incumbent in the White House and you got high gas prices coming back up to $4, and protein, whether it's chicken or beef or pork, is going back up again, that's not so great as you're going into an election cycle. So that's where the war is going to be fought. But frankly, if you're a regional bank right now, you're not lending. And I've been calling this out. I've been talking to you about this now for 6 weeks. I deal with this every day with small business. It's not good for small business. It's great for the S&P 500. But if you're running a $500 million or $50 million or $100 million business in America, employing Americans sitting in Des Moines, Iowa, you're not so happy right now because your costs have gone way up.
You know, let's go back to this Fitch downgrade thing. A lot of people don't understand it. They mentioned their worries about governance. I mean, look, I'm not worried about defaulting on our debt. I'm not worried about that. But their internal message was, in the next few years, government spending is going to be very high, like 25% of GDP. The average historically is 20. Deficits are going to run 6% of GDP. That is a massive number for peacetime without any kind of depression. Now, that's kind of what you're saying, that they've overloaded the system with all this liquidity and all this spending. But the Fitch warning is a warning. You can't keep doing this forever, can you?
No, you can't. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. I've said it a million times in the last week. This is not good news. There's no good news here. You can't look at it from a good news perspective because here's the fact. If you're a sovereign wealth fund, the majority of sovereign wealth funds, trillions of dollars invested, the majority of wealth in the world is sovereign wealth. The majority of their liquidity is held in U.S. treasuries. That's what they buy because they consider it the safest haven. This just took away from that a little bit. It made them a little more concerned. Do they consider the Swiss franc as an alternative? Would they go somewhere else? Maybe not yet, but you go from AAA to AA, what's next? Single A? All of a sudden, it's not just us. And I understand Warren Buffett doesn't care, Jamie Dimon doesn't care, but they're talking their books, Larry. Warren Buffett is the largest domestic holder of Treasury bills in America. He's never going to say anything bad about America, nor should he, and I'm a huge fan. You know, to me, those guys are cash flow guys. Charlie Munger's my mentor. I love that guy. But you can't tell me they're not talking their book. And so is Jamie Dimon. He should. He's the #1 bank in America. But they can't be feeling great about a downgrade. There's nothing good about it. So we got to start thinking about it. It's a wake-up call. And I'm not against government spending, but we've got to spend it wisely. Do we create jobs? Do we increase growth? Do we get more tax revenues from more economic activity? If it's not doing that, why are we spending it? That's the question.
Yeah, Kevin, I am against government spending. I mean, I don't think it's going to get us anywhere. I mean, look, that money is parceled out by Washington, you know, to favorite climate change corporations and woke corporations and Democratic interest groups and the blue states and the blue city mayors and the labor unions. Come on, the good, what little good is achieved from government spending, we're way beyond that. We're interplanetary. We're solar system. We're Milky Way beyond that stuff now.
Larry, I'm like you. Just cut taxes.
Yeah.
But that's not reality.
Yes.
So I would rather just cut taxes.
Yes.
Because I think that money going through the private sector would be better. But the truth is governments do spend. And the only question every American taxpayer should ask is, what's in it for me? You spend $1 on some program, how do I get that back? Because it's on my back. I have to pay it back one day. Or not, if it's not me, my kids. And I think now Fitch is saying, ladies and gentlemen, you've gone crazy. That's basically what they're saying.
Okay. Kevin O'Leary, thank you. It's great to see you. Great to hear from you. Good, really interesting point of view. I appreciate it.